Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where I'm so excited I can hardly stand it. Several weeks ago, we published a video on why store powdered milk, and I listed off a number of things that you can make at home using powdered milk. And by popular demand under that video, we're going to start showing how to do those things that I listed off. And today, we're going to start with probably the easiest one, which is yogurt. And as it happens, yogurt is the foundation for several of the cheeses that we will be making. Now, I've been making yogurt for quite a while, and I can tell you that you do not need any specialized equipment. I don't have any yogurt making equipment. I have plenty of kitchen equipment that I can use. And making yogurt is a very, very simple process. And understanding the science behind it will help you come out with perfect yogurt every single time. Now, it only takes 2 ingredients: milk, in this case powdered milk, and yogurt that has live culture in it. This happens to be the Greek god's Greek yogurt. It has live cultures in it. So this yogurt, this is the first time we've tried this yogurt, and both Jim and I really like it. We have been through several other brands that are way too tangy for us, and so this is a medium tangy. In fact, it says all taste and no tang on the back. But you can use, it just needs to be plain yogurt, and you can use either Greek yogurt or you can use regular yogurt. The back of this one says 7 live and active cultures, and then it lists them by their scientific names here. And so you're going to want to check the back to be sure that you have live cultures. The equipment that you need to make yogurt, and it varies greatly, so I'm going to give you several options. You need a pan to warm the milk in. You need a whisk to stir things up with. I use a thermometer. Now, in all of my research studying for and preparing for doing these cheeses with powdered milk, I have looked at lots and lots of people doing the very same thing on the web, and it's very variable. I've looked at a lot of yogurt, even though I know how to make yogurt. So many people say, oh, you don't need a thermometer, you can just do it essentially by the seat of your pants, just watch for the signs. Well, that may be okay in some things, but thermometers are so inexpensive and they are so useful in the kitchen. I really recommend that you get an instant read thermometer of some kind. Some people just use a candy thermometer, which is perfect. They just snap it to the side of the pan and away they go. But here's what we need to do. We need to put the milk in the pan and heat it up to 180 degrees. The reason that we heat it to 180 is to kill any of the other beneficial organisms that may be in the milk and to denature the enzymes. One of the people that I watched called that, you need to make your milk so that it is dead milk. And I had to laugh at her. She was really cute. So you use dead milk for making yogurt because we are going to reintroduce the 7 bacteria that are in this culture right here. Then you will need, you don't need a measuring cup. I use this as a little bowl. And you will need something in which to incubate your yogurt. Now, this is where things can get pretty pricey because they have yogurt makers. And I'm sure they work just great. If you want to spend the money on a yogurt maker, just do it. If you have an Instant Pot with a yogurt setting, you can do it there. You scald the milk first on a hotter cycle of your Instant Pot. Then you switch over to the yogurt setting, put the lid on, and then let the machine do its thing. Well, because we are preparing for the possibility of no electricity for a very long time, if that should happen, I want to be able to make yogurt off-grid. And so that's why I use the thermal cooker right here. And you can use all kinds of, you don't even need a fancy thermal cooker. This isn't fancy. I've had it for a really long time and it wasn't all that expensive. This is a 3-quart Stanley cooker. I don't even know if they make these anymore, but you can use a regular thermos jug if it will hold the amount that you are doing. You can use canning jars to put your yogurt in and then put them down inside a cooler, an ice chest. surrounded with quart jars of hot, hot, hot water and a quilt over the top. All you need to do is to provide a warm environment for however many hours you want your yogurt to incubate. And now that's another thing in terms of incubation. And we do 3 things with yogurt. We scald, we inoculate, and we incubate. Just 3 things. 2 ingredients, 3 things to do. The longer you let the yogurt sit and those bacteria are reproducing themselves like crazy during that time, the more bacteria that will be in the yogurt, the tangier it gets. So the longer you leave it, the more reproduction is going on, the more tangy it's going to get. Now the window for yogurt should be between 5 and 12 hours, not really longer than that. I like yogurt that is about the 7 to 8 hour mark. That's as much tang as I want. So you may have to test this out for just a little bit. So let's quit talking and get going. So with my powdered milk, I'm just going to make a quart today. Follow the instructions on your powdered milk, and you can use instant, you can use non-instant, and actually this same recipe works for whole milk. I made yogurt once with whole milk and a little half and half. Oh, it was to die for. But that's not what we're doing today. And so I'm going to measure out 1 1/3. This is a 2/3 cup measure, and it takes 1 1/3 cups of this powder, and I'm making it heaping, and I don't mind a little extra powdered milk in here for a little extra thickness, a little more protein. And then I have a quart, and when you're doing powdered milk, the cool thing is you can use warm or hot water. So I have a quart of warm water I'm putting in here. And then I'm just going to stir. Now, you may remember from that video that we did on why store powdered milk that I talked about the gag reflex that I have with powdered milk. It's a throwback to my childhood. I was raised on powdered milk. To this day, I can't drink it. Oh, it just gags me. And so I was really worried about doing yogurt with powdered milk because I don't want it to taste like powdered milk. Well, the great news is you can't even taste the powdered milk. So here it is. I'm going to turn on the heat. And because the water was already warm, and powdered milk is going to bubble up like this. Because the milk was already warm, it's not going to take a long time to get up to 180 degrees. Oh no. So the battery just died on my instant read thermometer, but I have a backup. And so
always have backup.
Always have a backup. So we are at 110 right now, 119, 120. So we're just going to keep stirring this milk. I don't want it to scald on the bottom because that taste would be carried over to our yogurt. So in our scalding, be sure we move this milk around. We certainly do not want it to boil. Just to get up to 180, I usually take it up to about 182, 183, just to be sure. 180 is the killing temperature for most organisms. All right, we're there. All right, now that we are at 180, actually we are at 182, we now, because we've killed everything, we now have dead milk. Then I'm just going to put it right in the sink in this pot of cold water. And that is going to help it cool down very fast. We're going to cool it down to between 112 and 115. We need to get it down so that the temperature of the milk will not kill the bacteria that is in our yogurt that we're going to incubate with. So this will take probably about 5 minutes. So we'll be back when it's cooled down. Jim put a new battery in this and it's working just fine. I prefer this one, it's easier to use. And he wanted me to remind you that when you take the temperature, be sure you don't touch the probe to the bottom of the pan. You want to get just the milk. All right, now it's time to incubate. And I have in this pot, I've been warming it with warm water. So first thing I'm going to do is dump that. And we're going to keep that warm for a second. Now we're going to incubate. So the way that we do that is in a small bowl, we just dip out a little bit of the milk. You do not need to measure, just enough to where you have a little bit. Looks like I put in about a cup. And then from your yogurt with the live bacteria, I'm just going to put a couple of spoonfuls, about like that. You don't want to put too much. It's not an exact science. And then you stir this around. And the reason that we do it this way is to have a better chance of equalizing the temperature. So we want to warm up that yogurt, get it closer to the temperature of this milk. Okay. Now we're going to incubate right here. No, this is inoculate. Now we're going to inoculate, stir, and now we just put it in whatever we are going to incubate it in, which for us is going to be this thermal cooker. And it's just like a big giant thermos. And lock that lid in place. It's very well insulated. But I'm going to use some extra insulation by putting it right inside my Wonder Bag. And this will ensure that it keeps a fairly even temperature for the next few hours, which is what we need to have. And we are done. So we're going to let this sit. It is now 10 a.m. So we're going to let this sit probably until about 5 o'clock. And then I'll check it to see if we want to take it out and do the next step. If you choose to do a next step, I'll tell you when we get there what I mean by that. So now is the incubation time, and we'll be back after a while. It has been 7 hours, and we are now ready to open up our yogurt and see how it is doing. It still feels warm in there. So this has a little tab that I can release the vacuum if there is one. Sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't. Created by steam and then this cooling. Okay. Here's what we have. You can see that it's all set up very nicely. Lovely, lovely yogurt. Now I'm just going to take a taste of this to see what it tastes like. There is not even a hint of powdered milk, not a hint. And it will be especially good after it has chilled. Now, this is regular yogurt. A lot of people will incubate right in the jars or the containers that they are then going to just put right in the refrigerator, and that would certainly be a time-saving step. Now, I don't. I just incubate in this, and I've only done a quart today. Usually I do about 2 quarts at a time. I prefer Greek yogurt. This is not Greek yogurt, but we can get to Greek yogurt very easily. So here's what I'm going to do. I have a strainer, fits in this bowl. I'm going to put a clean tea towel right here. And I am just going to scoop, wow, this is so great, a lot of this yogurt right into this tea towel. Now you can see some of the yellowish fluid right there. That is whey, W-H-E-Y. That is the liquid that comes out of yogurt and cheese making. We're going to get very well acquainted with whey going forward. This is just beautiful yogurt. It's perfect. Now, the rest of the yogurt I'm going to keep as regular yogurt, and I'm going to put it in this little jar. Well, it is really a dish and not a jar. And then when I put it in the refrigerator, that a little bit of whey will be there, and I can either drain it off, which I do. I mean, whey comes, let me see if we have some whey in the other yogurt that I used for the incubator. Yes, you can see the whey is separating. So I'm sure that you have seen that. And so when we get ready to eat this plain yogurt, I can just stir it up or I can drain it off, either way. Now to turn regular yogurt into Greek yogurt, all we're going to do is allow that whey to drain off for about 3 hours, 3, maybe 4 hours. And so let's see if some is even coming right now. Yes, it is. We already have some down in the bowl. And you can see it coming from the yogurt. Now I am going to keep that whey, and I hope that you do too, because we're going to, in a video down the road a little ways, we're going to be doing something really special with that whey. And it's used for a whole lot of other things too. So I'm just going to cover this carefully to keep it clean. And it is going in the refrigerator until well after dark. It's 5 o'clock now, so probably about 8 o'clock. I will take it out. I don't like it to be too dry. I like it to be nice and moist, but not as moist as regular yogurt is. So I'm going to let the whey come out for about 2, maybe 3 hours. I'll check it after 2 hours. And then we'll put it in a different container. And then, because it will be dark and our kitchen doesn't do very well in videos after it gets dark outside, we will come back in the morning and I will show you both yogurts after they have chilled and been in the refrigerator overnight. So we will see you then. Good morning. It's early morning on the next day. Here are the results to our yogurt. And you know, I've been thinking, trying to think back if I really have ever made yogurt with strictly powdered milk. I thought that I had, but something I'm going to explain to you in just a minute happened with this yogurt that I've never seen before, and so it made me really think hard. I don't think I have ever made yogurt with strictly powdered milk before. I have used powdered milk in yogurt making a lot, adding it to fat-free milk or 2% milk to boost the protein over the years, but I don't think I've ever made it. So there's something new that I want to share with you. But it has turned out a lovely yogurt. Now, what happened with this was, now this is our original yogurt, and usually I just let it sit the way it is if I'm going to leave it as regular yogurt and not turn it into Greek yogurt. But this had so much whey in it that I decided to drain it, and I only drained it for 2 minutes. I stood right there and watched while it gave off this much liquid. So it is now a better consistency, and it's very, very good, especially after it's chilled. I don't like plain yogurt, but that's the only way I can get the true taste of this. And I'm not gagged at all by the fact that it was made with powdered milk, because I can't taste that typical powdered milk taste. And there's a little bit of tang in this part of my mouth, and it has a really, really good but mild flavor. I don't like really strong yogurt, but I'll be mixing this with fruit. In fact, Jim and I have not had our breakfast yet, so this is going to be our breakfast. So this is great. And the thing that I learned was that I probably will have to drain off at least a little bit of the whey so that it doesn't get too runny. Now, by contrast, this is our Greek yogurt, and you can see just by looking that it is much thicker. It's almost the consistency of, I would say, soft cream cheese. And this is how much whey came off of that. And I put much more yogurt to make Greek yogurt with than I did this, but now this is less volume because of all of the whey that it lost. And the whey is beautiful and clear. This whey is just a little bit cloudy, but this also is very, very good. Has the same taste, but more, the texture is very different. I love this. It's really, really good. It may be just a little bit too dry for me, and I only let this drip for 2 hours, but I might put just a little bit of the whey back in here to make it the consistency of this Greek yogurt. So this is just a little bit softer. I think you can tell. Wow. The taste of this and this is almost identical. This is just a little richer tasting because it is not fat-free. So there are lots of good reasons to eat yogurt, and there are some great reasons for making your own, not the least of which is the expense, because you can make it a whole lot less expensive than you can buy it. And you know precisely what the ingredients are. In some yogurts, especially the non-fat yogurts, they're adding extra sugar to sweeten it up just a little bit to make it more palatable. And this way you can control exactly what it is that you eat with your yogurt. Now, what I'm going to be doing in upcoming videos is I am keeping track of the recipes that I'm using, and I'm going to be making a free download handout that will be on cheese making using powdered milk. So once we get into our cheese making, there will be recipes for you to download. So this is our first step in that direction. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try it. Try it with all kinds of milk to see what results you get and whether or not you have to drain out the whey on some of the things. And then report back under the video of your success and what things worked for you, and let's share experiences so that we can all learn. So thank you so much for being with us. We love our learning community. I had someone the other day say, I just love this community. And of course we do too, and that makes us feel so good. So subscribe if you have not yet, and share the good word to everybody that you feel can benefit from the things that we are doing within our community. And we will see you very soon with another video.